This is the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. Watch films with us.
Okay, well, we'll just have to roll with it and keep our fingers crossed. Welcome to the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. I am Trevor Webb, and this lovely man is Gavin Rye. Gavin Rye, say hi.
Hello.
Some glare there. Don't know what's happening. All right, how have you been, Gavin? It's been a while.
It's been almost a week, probably a week.
Pretty much exactly a week, yeah. How have you been?
How have I been? Yeah, fine. Slowly moving along. How have you been?
Not great. My laptop died, which means I can't do any more of these podcasts.
Oh no.
Yeah, so unfortunately, no more. So I apologise. Yeah, this week we've got a film that was chosen by someone called Trevor Webb. Have you heard of him?
In passing.
Well, I've heard many rumours about him, but I've tried to be in contact with him. Can't get in contact with him all week. Trying to, hey, your film's been chosen. Do you want to get on? Do a little intro. He didn't even reply. I did get a video from one of his friends, someone called Ted Long. He's done a video for us, and
Oh God.
we're going to cut to that now. So, Ted, because Trevor's a cunt and he didn't want to do the video, over to you. Hey guys, it's Ted Long here. Drummer man, drummer extraordinaire, fucking best head drummer you'll ever fucking see, man. Anyway, Trevor Webb's asked me to come on and ask you guys if it's alright for me to introduce his film for him. You know, he's a busy guy, he's got things to do, so I'm suggesting, he suggested, I'm just kind of saying it for him. He wanted fucking Clerks from 1994, man. Great film, man. It's fucking awesome. And you're gonna love it. Just like I love the podcast that you guys are doing. I mean, that Trevor Webb guy, he's a fucking loser, but, Gavin Rye is so fucking good that he's making the whole fucking podcast good. You know what I mean? It's fucking awesome, man. It's like he's carrying the whole fucking thing. And then he's got that Keir Mills guy at the end. I mean, he's a fucking legend. I mean, fuck. Fuck, man. Anyway, Clerks, watch it. Fuck off.
Oh, thanks, Ted. It's an honour to be bigged up by you. One of the great drummers of all make-believe.
You think? I've heard he's quite shit, that Ted Long guy. But never mind. He seems to like you, so...
That's fine, and that's the important part, isn't it?
So, as Ted said, the film this week is Clerks. It's Kevin Smith's first film. And Gavin, do you want to say anything about it?
Well, it's your pick.
That's not. It's Trevor Webb's
Is it
pick.
not? Oh yeah,
I don't know that twat.
I got all of that.
I don't know him.
So yeah, Clerks, 1994, directorial debut of Kevin Smith, who went on to great things such as Yoga Hosers and Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
What? You can't list them two together, suggesting that they're both as bad as each other.
I forgot what the second one was called.
Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was the second one, but that's still nowhere near as bad as Yoga Hosers. You can't put them in the same sentence.
They are as bad as each other.
They are not. If you're going to say two bad films, say Yoga Hosers and Cop Out.
No,
What you think genuinely? Jay and Silent Bob reboot is worse than Cop Out?
Than Cop Out, yes, it is.
What?
And Cop Out is terrible.
I didn't mind reboot that much.
I know, I watched it with you.
You did?
I remember you enjoying it. I found it extremely difficult to even finish.
I didn't love it, but I enjoyed parts of it. I liked the basic premise for making a reboot whilst poking fun out of reboots and things. I enjoyed, and it's good to see all the characters come back and all the cameos. So I liked the idea of it more than the execution, but yeah, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as you're saying.
Disagree. Every bit as bad. So yeah, that guy, Kevin Smith of Yoga Hazer fame.
Usually, every week, you ask me what the film's about, and I never have anything prepared. This week, I prepared something, and you didn't bloody ask me.
What's the film about?
Ooh, funny you should mention that. Clerks is about two friends, Dante and Randall, who work in a quick-stop grocery store and the attached video store rental place next door. It's a dark comedy about their lives, the customers they face, and the way each of them deal with things. Yeah?
It's all right, yeah.
I mean, yeah. As Ted and you have said, this was Kevin Smith's first film ever. He made it when he was 23 by maxing out several credit cards and borrowing money from friends and family. It truly is a labor of love and is proof that taking a chance and following your dreams can pay off as long as you finish the film. That's the note I made here. As long as you finish it.
What's that in reference to?
What do you think it's in reference to? Did you ever make a film, Gavin, and not finish it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You told me not to finish it.
Did I? That's my fault. I told you to remake it. That's what I told you to. With all the original cast, this time with a cameraman who could see instead of having everything blurry, it would have been good.
No one knows what we're on about.
No, I don't. Gavin made a film a while ago and he never finished it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go on then. Where were we? Kevin Smith.
Yeah. First shot of the film we're on, if you... Unless you want to say anything about the film before we crack on to scenes.
No. Pretty much nailed it, haven't you?
Well, I'm a pro. Been doing this for 5-6 weeks now.
Yeah.
Oh. So, the first shot shows Dante asleep in his cupboard, falling out of his cupboard as the phone rings. He's not supposed to be working today, but he has a hockey game at 2 and he gets convinced to go in anyway. In the film, Dante works at the quick stop grocery store that Kevin Smith was actually working in when he made the film. Even during production, he was working in the shop during the day, then filming through the night. I love that. He's like 23, he's working in a convenience store, he's maxed out all these credit cards to make the film, and he's doing it on no sleep.
Is that a reference to anything?
No, just admiration. Do you not?
You didn't have any admiration when... Oh, we're going back to the film now. People need a lesson about what we're even on about. But there was just a day you got very annoyed at me because I was quite snappy because I had been to work all night, filmed all day, been to work all night, and then filmed all half the day. And I was a bit snappy at you on one of those last days, and you were very annoyed at me. We had a little argument.
Half a day. You did half a day on the second day. Lazy bastard.
So do you admire my dedication?
No, not really. He did it for 21 days, Gavin. You did it for 1.5.
I'm sure he had some days off.
He probably did have a few. Oh, you didn't film every night, I'm sure, but we didn't work every day, but still. The reason I'm bringing up Zombie Scumbags, which was the name of the film, me and Gavin co-directed a while back in 2007. The reason I'm bringing that up is because this film was inspiration, really, in large part, for feeling like I can make a film. This was
I think last week I told you that I read the script to this before actually watching it.
Mm.
It was after reading that script and seeing how it was all formatted and stuff. That's what I was like, I could do this. So before I'd even seen Clerks, I was kind of in that mindset.
I suppose that probably it had that effect on a lot of people.
Mm.
And do you know the film that had that effect on Kevin Smith to make him think that he could make films?
No.
It is Richard Linklater's Slackers, which I've never seen.
No, me
I'm
neither.
actually not a very big fan of his, but yeah, that's like a kind of low budget, very talky movie.
Mm. I did not know that.
I mean, with the opening shot, him just falling out of the closet. So there's quite a lot of moments like that throughout the film. Isn't it? It's like almost slightly out of reality, over the top, little moments of quirkiness.
You think of any
Even
others?
in that beginning scene, even in that beginning scene, there's just the shot of the dog drinking out of the toilet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just that. I mean, because so many of the shots are just static shots for a large part of it with just dialogue. Anytime you need to cut, you need a cutaway. So it makes sense to have these quirky cutaway shots. Makes sense. So Dante gets to work, finds that someone has put gum in the locks of the shutters. Bunch of savages in this town. So no
I
effort.
don't think that's very clear.
It's not at first, but then they do explain it, to be fair.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
No, yeah, he does actually. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, at first he just looks at it and puts it down and moves on, but he does explain it a couple of times. He explains it to Randall and to Veronica. So he has to make the sign out of an old sheet and shoe polish saying, "I assure you we are open," which I liked.
Yeah, becomes a very iconic thing.
It does.
Would you have bothered with that if you were Dante? Would you have just been like, nah, leave it? I wouldn't be making a sign.
Yes. I think I'm edging towards yes. I think I would have. But the reason for it in the film, fun fact, is that because they were filming in the store at night when the store itself was closed, and they didn't have the right camera set up to film with the tungsten lights being in colour. It was purely a budgetary thing. A lot of people see that it's black and white and assume that it's going to be an arty film. It is not. It's just a budgetary thing.
I love the black and white though. I mean, I think I like the second part, Clerks 2, but it looks too clean. I love the grainy 16mm look.
Once the shop opens for business, we get our first of many wacky customers. This is the Chuli's gun sales representative putting everybody off of cigarettes by getting out a diseased lung and putting it on the counter. Made a note here that is quite ahead of its time for that. I looked into it after the film. And in America, they still don't have to put warning pictures on their packaging of cigarettes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even now. They went through this whole freedom of speech thing and First Amendment, etc. You can't make us do this. But even in England, at the time of filming, cigarette packaging did have a smoking kills warning on the packets, but the images over here weren't actually enforced until 2009. So having an actual lung
I can
on the
remember them
counter
coming
is
about.
quite of its time. After this scene, we're introduced to Jay and Silent Bob, two of the best characters Kevin Smith ever created. They're legends. What's that
right.
face?
They're not my favourite. They're alright. I think Jay's a bit ridiculous.
He's supposed
I'm
to.
over that now. Yeah, I know, but I'm over that now. When I was like 16, when I first saw Clerks, I was probably like, yeah, Jay. But now I'm just like, oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's a little bit tragic. And he definitely wouldn't fit in today, would he? Not the early Jay.
Sup, ladies. Sup, sluts.
Yeah, he just literally shouts sluts at some random women, I assume.
Sure, that would go down all right.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
Not sure you ever could, but I mean, he did. He got away with it. He's a lovely chap, and the girls loved him. And he's got a massive dick. So.
Well, I'll take your word for that.
You've seen Zack and Miri make a porno.
Oh, yeah, I have. Yeah, that was another great one.
Your sarcasm.
Yeah, Jane Silent Bob are very background in this one compared to later films.
Indeed. See, it had been a while since I saw Clerks, and I remembered them being more prominent, but they're really not. They're very backgroundy till near the end of the film.
We get the with the Chulies guy. At one point, he likens tobacco to the Nazis.
He does. That's after we see Jay and Silent Bob back in the store. He's rallying up somewhat of a crowd of people. Everyone's chucking cigarettes at him, at Dante.
Dante.
And that's when Veronica comes in and saves the day. Calls the crowd. Finds out that he's a Chulies gum representative. And then one person from the crowd of people chucking cigarettes. Pack of cigarettes, please. Quite liked.
Back to business as usual. So it's, when we're introduced to Veronica, and it's the first of, well, not the first, but probably the first of many, like the big conversations that they have when they sit behind the counter, put a load of change up on the counter to very trusting of people.
The note says, please leave money on the counter, take change when applicable, be honest. Made a note of that. Honesty through paranoia. People see money on the counter and assume they're being watched.
Would you be honest with that system?
I think I would be. It's the be honest part at the end. That's got me.
That tugs you.
Yeah. If it just said, please leave money on the counter, take change when applicable, I might take an extra £1, but that be honest part, that's... You?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not very good at maths, though. I'd be stood there for ages, like adding up everything. But I think I'd probably leave a tip.
Really?
Like, yeah. If it was a difficult transaction.
I wouldn't leave a tip, but I'd certainly be honest.
So yeah, well, their conversation is about coming.
Well, yes. Well, they get first about the school stuff, isn't it? She wants him to quit school, etc., which is quite important. It's about Dante and his lack of ambition, which is quite fitting. But I didn't make many notes about it. But yes, then the conversation you're mentioning, I'll let you explain it.
Dante says that it's easy to make a guy come, so it's no big deal. So he is a better lover for being able to make her come.
How do you feel about that statement?
Oh, I don't agree.
Sell it to me a bit more. Sell it to me.
I don't know. As you get older, like me, I'm an older gentleman. It's not as easy to finish myself off. So it's an achievement for both parties, I say.
Yeah, something you should celebrate. So yeah, then they have a conversation about numbers.
Oh yeah, this is the big numbers part.
Where
I've got a thing about this. For a while, right, I was wondering how old Dante is, but it's later revealed he's 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Same age as Kevin Smith was when he wrote the film. Because Dante is based on Kevin Smith. Fun fact.
So he's 22, and he's dated Veronica, it's mentioned, for 7 months.
Yeah.
And he's been faithful to her, so he says, so we'll take his word for it.
Yeah.
Apart from chatting to Caitlin.
See,
he was with Kate.
Sorry, carry on. I'm not 100% convinced he was faithful the whole time through. He seems a bit of a... But anyway, carry on.
Okay. Well, that might answer this then, but... So he's with Caitlin for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in relationship, let's say, since he was 17 or so.
Well, no, because that would bring him through to 22, so it has to be lower than 17. So say it was through high school, say say it was like 13, 14 at high school romance, and they stayed together for like 5 years.
But
And
yeah,
then he had
he's
those
told her,
few years of sleeping around.
there aren't that many years though of it.
I mean, if he started dating Caitlin when he was 13, first girlfriend, they break up when
But the
he's
way
18, then he has 4 years to sleep with 10
I
people.
feel like he's been with Caitlin up until he's got with Veronica, or at least not much of a gap between that, because they're still talking. Why would they have quite a few years not dating and then decide to get back together when he's got a new girlfriend?
He never stopped pining for Caitlin, but she was in relationships and things, and she went off to university or whatever, and then all of a sudden she's probably reached out to him after all this time, was my understanding.
I don't buy it, but sure.
I certainly don't think it was ever mentioned that it went from Caitlin onto Veronica in succession.
Fair enough then. So yeah, this is where we find out that he slept with 12 women.
Yeah.
And she slept with
3 guys, which makes her an angel, basically. Then someone comes in the store, don't they? Snowball.
Yeah, played by Scott Mosier.
Indeed. One of his 2 roles in the film. He also plays later on a very small role after the funeral scene of the people who come out chucking stuff at the car. He's one of them.
Yep. So he's also producer, and I think he did sound on Clerks as well.
Editor. He's done loads of stuff.
Oh yeah, editing.
Co-editor with Kevin. But look at me calling him Kevin like we're chums. Him and Kev. Scott and Kev.
Good buddies.
Yeah. So why is he called Snowball, Gavin?
Because he likes to finish his love into a woman's mouth.
Right.
And then have her spit that love into his mouth. His own love.
Right.
Yeah.
And spit it into it whilst kissing and
Yeah.
Which-
his love gunk.
which I've heard you're into.
No.
Really?
Yeah, really. That's not. No. Not for me.
Then after he leaves the store, it turns out that Veronica was the one that snowballed him. This makes Dante question how many dicks she had sucked. Do you like how I paused before saying dicks then? Like I was like, don't swear, we're gonna swear in this. Oh, and there'll be spoilers. I meant to say that earlier. I always forget the spoilers warning.
You already said cunt as well earlier.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Bad Trevor. So yeah, Dante questions how many dicks she sucked. When told 37 including him, he loses his cool somewhat. A customer comes to the counter and Dante says, 37! My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks! And the customer replies,
In a row.
great line. I do think, because Randall brings it up later, this is very much, I can understand it kind of bothering you initially, but then when you put it in perspective, as Randall helps him do, by pointing out that Randall wasn't number 36, that helps, and the fact that most of the guys are people that he'd never met, people that she was at college with, that helps. I feel. If it's all of your friends and everyone you know has been sucked off by your girlfriend, that might be different.
Various family members.
Yeah, your dad, and that might be slightly different. And then after this scene, we get one of my favourite scenes in the film, or one of the funniest moments, where Veronica leaves the store. Dante goes after her, shouting, "Hey, try not to suck any dick on your way through the parking lot." And then a guy who's just stood outside starts to follow her, and Dante says, "Hey, you, get back here." He turns around. Quite enjoyed that.
This is the first time we see throughout the whole film there's these title cards, apart from when it's a character's name and it says syntax.
Indeed. Do you know much about the title cards, why they were in? They come up quite often.
No, nothing about them. But I remember thinking, I was getting a bit bored by them, to be honest. Thought they were a
Bored
bit
by them?
pretentious. Thought they were a bit pretentious
I mean,
in a film that otherwise isn't.
that is the thing. It's supposed to be budgetary, which is why it's black and white, and not through artistic reasoning. And then this did make it feel a bit more artsy. I don't know much about it. I did look into it briefly. I know that, well, I read somewhere, I don't know how true this is, but I read that it's just random words that he found in the dictionary, and I don't know if they have any meaning, or they must have some meaning. I know in the audio commentary track, he goes through each one as it comes up and gives the definition of them, but I've not heard that for a long time, so.
So yeah, it was, at this point actually I made the note that it just wouldn't have been the same film if I know you said earlier about how the shutters are down because he was filming at night, but I just can't imagine it being the same film if inside the store is really brightly lit.
Yeah, the dingy.
Just wouldn't have the same feel.
Agreed. After this scene, we're introduced to... Earlier I said that Jay and Silent Bob were two of the best characters Kevin Smith has ever created. Do you know who is better than Jay and Silent Bob?
Randall.
Yeah. He's
Yep.
great. He's one of the best. And the casting's brilliant. It's just... He's a legend. We're introduced to Randall now. So another title card comes up. Randall, played excellently by Jeff Anderson. For me, Randall makes this movie. The casting is perfect and he's just a great character. And did you know that when writing the script, Kevin Smith was originally planning to play the part of Randall?
Yes, I did. Because and he also based Randall on his friend Brian. Oh, is it Brian O'Hara? No.
No, Brian O'Halloran's the guy who plays Dante.
Of course it is, yeah. And I've completely missed his name now. Lost it.
I read it. I didn't make a note of it. It wasn't a name I'd heard of before. He's not in the film or anything, is he?
Oh, no, yeah, no, I don't think he is, which is weird because they were really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
But he did go on to direct a film that Kevin Smith produced. It's Brian Johnson. That's it. He directed Volga, which is brilliant. Good film.
Don't think I've seen it. But, yeah, basically with the working all day in the quick stop and then filming all night thing, he didn't think he could memorize the lines, so he let Jeff do it. And I think that was a smart decision because Jeff knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, he's really good. But the weird thing is, he's not really ever been in much else.
No, which is really weird. And he even turns down, like, Clerks 3, he said he didn't want to do. Which is
No,
odd.
I'm pretty sure I heard that he changed his mind on that. I'm not too sure though.
Hopefully. Post heart attack, everyone's kind of come around to things, which, if no one knows, Kevin Smith had a heart attack, used it to basically bribe a lot of his friends into being in the reboot. He admits it. He says it himself. He used his heart attack as, I almost died, man, so you should be in that film.
I guess you got to do what you got to do when you're making something that quality.
It wasn't that bad, Gavin.
You say so.
I do say so.
So with Dante, what's
Randall.
his introduction? Randall, yeah. What's his introduction?
His first scene is he turns up late to the video store where he's working, and he sees the girl waiting outside for the shop to open. He pretends to be a fellow customer, and he makes a $20 bet with her that she won't be able to rent a specific movie, then proceeds to go get the keys, come back, unlock, and then hold the door open for her, and she's like, just looking confused. I quite loved that scene. That makes sense.
Yep, it pretty much sums up Randall.
Indeed.
Gonna keep modelling them up.
Of the two, which would you say you related to when you're watching a film most? I mean, if any.
I think it's a lot like Kevin Smith says. I saw a bit of the documentary. He says that he is Dante, but he wishes he was Randall.
Makes sense.
I'd go along with that.
Would you say Kevin Smith is most like... I mean, I know Dante was based on Kevin Smith, but Kevin Smith made the film. He took that leap. He did what Dante is afraid to do.
Yeah, it's more the character, just the situation he's in rather than what he ends up doing with his life.
But the whole film is about direction and taking chances and stuff, isn't it?
I suppose so, but I mean, in the documentary, Kevin Smith just says he wanted to make a film about a bunch of people talking. I mean, there are these moments of story in there, but it isn't heavily story based.
It's not, no. But it doesn't need to be. He still, he took the chance. He shat. Shit, or get off the pot.
Yes, I got
Later
it.
reference. He definitely shat, and he shat good. Anyway.
He did.
Next scene, we see Randall in the quick stop talking to Dante about a girl called Caitlin. This is where Caitlin's first brought up. Do you want to tell us about Caitlin, Gavin, and her relationship with Dante?
Yeah, Caitlin is Dante's ex-girlfriend of 5 years. We can't decide when they went out. It isn't mentioned. And like you say, finds out she's getting married.
Indeed. But they've been talking, haven't they, a lot? And
Yes. You don't find that out yet, though, do you?
yeah, you find that out before she's getting married. So the first scene is Randall asking Dante who he's on the phone to at 2:30 in the morning because he was trying to phone him. And he guesses that it's Caitlin again, which suggests it's been going on for a while. And then they're talking about it and stuff and talking about Veronica. He hints that he's not wanting to be with Veronica anymore, and the arguments he's having with her are stemming from him wanting to be with Caitlin instead, etc., etc. And then Randall says, well, you four should probably sit down and have a conversation about that. So, what, you four? He's like, yeah, you, Veronica, Caitlin, and her fiance, and then shows her in the paper.
Yep. Lovely done as well.
Indeed.
So yeah, we missed the scene where Randall reels off a load of porn titles. A girl with her daughter, holding her daughter, come in looking for happy scrappy time.
Something like that.
And then Randall says, "I'll just check at the warehouse," and he reels off loads of porn titles. My favourite being "Coming in Socks."
Uh-huh.
Do you remember any of the titles?
I don't remember any, no.
There were a lot. Chicks with dicks.
Well, yeah, it's classic. I do know that was the only scene that Jeff Anderson was uncomfortable doing, even though it's clearly filmed where the kid isn't in shot. They clearly cut to him close up when he's reeling off the lines. He didn't want the scene being seen by the mother of the child. So he asked Kevin to cut out a few of the titles, apparently. So,
oh really?
I'd love to know what was in there originally. Yes, that was a good scene. And then we get to the scene where outside Jay and Silent Bob are hanging out with Silent Bob's Russian cousin, who's in the band singing the Berserker song. Are you going to do the song, Gavin?
No, I am not. I'll leave you to do that.
My love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker? My love for you is taking cock berserker. Would you like to suck my cock berserker?
There you go.
I thought the line was, "My love for you is like a truck."
That's the first line, yeah. My love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
Oh. I was too captivated with your performance.
It's a great song. And then after this scene, I mean, I hope you mentioned this. It's one of the best discussions in the film. The Star Wars discussion.
Yeah, I did mention it. I'm just now going through the Star Wars series with my daughter, and we just watched Empire, so we're about to watch Return of the Jedi. And yeah, they have a great conversation about the Death Star.
What did you like better, Jedi or The Empire Strikes Back?
Empire.
Blasphemy.
But as a kid, I used to love Return of the Jedi.
No,
It's my
Gavin.
favourite.
No, we're going through the script.
I'm not doing
Empire,
the script.
blasphemy. You're supposed to say Empire had the better ending. I mean, Luke gets his hand cut off, finds out Vader's his father, his hand gets frozen and taken away by Boba Fett. It ends on such a down note. I mean, that's what life is. A series of down endings. All Jedi had was a bunch of Muppets. That was what you were supposed to say next.
Did you write all that down?
Yeah. Can't
Very
memorize
good.
stuff like that.
You once told me that your favourite Star Wars film was one of the Ewok ones.
Yeah, it was. It was great. I can't remember what it's called, but it's not even part of the actual.
There's Battle of Endor and
Probably that one.
Caravan of Courage.
I think it was Battle of Endor. Great film.
I remember liking it as a kid, but I haven't seen it since.
It's just all about the Ewoks. Great characters. I wanted, when I got a dog, she made an appearance last video. We ended up calling her Storm, short for Stormtrooper. Fun fact. It's probably not that fun, but it's a fact. I was originally, because she's a Shih Tzu and quite hairy, was originally looking up Ewok names, but none of them were really great.
I can't remember their name.
No, I can't even now. But none of them were
Brilliant.
suitable. And I love the song whilst we're having this Star Wars discussion. The song in the background is called Chewbacca by Supernova. And it's just a great
Not
song.
a Wookiee.
Yeah. Great
Yeah,
song.
that's a good one.
Did you know that the soundtrack that you hear when watching the film wasn't in the original cut?
Yes, I did know that one.
All the music was later added when they did the DVD distribution, and the music rights cost almost as much or as much as the whole film itself cost.
Not surprising. So what's your opinion with the Death Star destruction in Return of the Jedi?
I'm with the contractor. I believe you know what you're getting into, I think. If you know whose house it is, you don't go work there.
And you got to have known that the first one was destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate to disagree with Randall, but they were getting paid lots of money, and they thought, yeah, I like the money. You? What's your opinion?
Oh, I'm with you. Yep.
We then get another wacky customer come in, the Eggman, looking for the perfect dozen, which leads to another great line written. It's important to have a job that means a difference, guys. That's why I manually masturbate caged animals for artificial insemination. Insemination, that's the word, yeah. I wondered why on my notes it's got a big red line under insemification. Because it's not a word. Insemication? What is it?
Insemination.
Insemination. That's
And the Eggman is played by Walt Flanagan,
fun fact.
who's in Comic Book Men and does a lot of podcast stuff with Kevin and that.
Mm-hmm. And the lady that says about the artificial artificial insemination, that is Kevin Smith's sister.
Oh, right, yeah. I didn't know that, or I did know that and forgot.
And
Because then Kevin's mum pops up a little bit later.
the milkmaid in a later scene is his mother.
Yeah, it is.
So most of the smaller roles in the film are just people they knew. Friends and
yeah.
family. The only established actors in the film were Brian O'Halloran, who plays Dante, and then I don't know her name, but the girl who plays Veronica. Them two he got from a local theatre school or something like that.
Marilyn Gigliotti.
That's the one. them two,
hasn't been in much else either.
no, should be
No,
quite good.
just Clerks stuff. She was in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot somewhere.
Yeah.
We get the chat as well here with the jizz mopper talk that offends a customer.
Ah, yes. Do you want to give the details? Give the deets.
Is it? Oh, with he's talking about wages, isn't he? And Walt, not Walt. What am I on about? He's talking about how Dante probably earns less or the same amount as a jizz mopper.
It's then about lunchtime. By this point, Dante is supposed to have been let off work. Veronica comes back and brings him lasagna, homemade lasagna, which we won't go into now, but is key for a later scene. One of the most integral lines in the film.
Yeah, and they are made up again. They're all good.
Well, yeah, Dante seems to have gotten over the 37 dicks thing with the help of Randall. Randall was fucking awesome.
Voice of reason.
I
Sort of.
mentioned it earlier. It's the fact of that Randall wasn't number 36. That helps. And the fact that most of the guys were people that she would have been with in college. People that he will never know, never met, etc. That seems to put it in perspective. The ostrich in the sand, head in the sand thing. If you don't see it, it's not a problem.
Exactly.
Then we get the hockey game on the roof.
Before that, he's got the he gets the phone call. Who's that phone call from? I can only assume it's like the boss's wife.
He makes a phone call, doesn't he? I think.
Does he?
I think he
Right, yeah.
initiates it. But yeah, I don't know who he's talking to, but somebody tells him that his boss has gone somewhere.
He'll be away till Tuesday. Not that we know what day it is.
I think it may have been Sunday. It was because Dante says, I don't work Sundays. In the very first scene.
You know what? And I think Randall mentions it when they go to the funeral. He says, "Who's going to be at the store at whatever time on a Sunday or a Sat? Does he say Saturday?
I don't know, but it's Saturday or Sunday, something like that. Hopeful.
But they play hockey on the roof.
They do, which I always thought was quite a pointless scene originally. It's over very quickly. It doesn't really offer much to the story, but this time I kind of looked at it differently. I saw it as the first time Dante really rebels. He stands up for himself. It's the first moment, and I feel without this scene of doing that hockey game on the roof, the very next scene would have been far less believable.
Yeah, I guess so. And it's also another little quirky, weird moment.
It basically it's there, in my eyes, mostly to substantiate future defiances. The next scene is where the old man wants to use the toilet. He comes in. He wants to use the toilet.
And his demands keep going further and further. First he wants toilet, then toilet roll because the one in there is too tough. Then he wants a magazine to read. Then he wants a porno magazine. But then he wants a different porno magazine because they got bigger titties. But he likes the cartoons, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, clearly. I mean, if it hadn't been for the hockey on the roof scene, I wouldn't have believed that Dante would even let him use the toilet. Dante is a very rules-heavy guy. You get the impression.
I think I'd buy the toilet, all right.
Maybe the toilet part, but not anything else.
Yeah, not when they later then go to the wake when he finds out another ex of his has died.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit later on. Actually, it's not. No, it's not too soon. It's after this scene, actually, to be fair. But I mean, you're skipping past this. I mean, it's quite a key part. The guy in the toilet. I mean.
Well, they purposely play it off so that you forget it. So was I.
Ah, smart. I'm not going to, though. What would you have done in that situation? You're working there, a guy comes in, what do you do?
I'm not sure I'd give him the jazz mag. I wouldn't trust someone going into a toilet with a jazz mag, but I'd let him go, probably, especially directly after I've just got a phone call saying, oh, I'm stuck here till closing.
Yeah, definitely let him use the toilet. I'm not sure I'd open a pack of toilet roll for him.
No, I wouldn't.
Not fancy stuff. I'd be like, well, if you buy it, you can take it in.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yep.
Same with the magazine. If you want to take a porn magazine bag, actually, I'm not. If he buys the porno magazine, would you let him bring it back, knowing what he's probably going to do?
No, I think I'd mention that. I'd be like, look, leave that here.
Even if he'd brought it, it's his property.
I'd be like, yeah, I'll look after that till you come out. You don't want to get it wet.
And what if he says no? Are you going to...
Well, he's not getting in the toilet then.
Would you say...
Yeah, I'd revoke his toilet rights if he disagreed to my terms.
I would. I don't know. It's an odd one. If he hadn't brought the magazine, definitely, I would say no. But if he had brought the magazine...
There we go then. You'd let him jerk off.
Okay, so the funeral scene. It's then established that somebody Dante once dated has died, Julie. And Dante's in full-on rebel mode at this point. He decides to go to the wake, reluctantly taking Randall with him. And yeah, they drive there. You do get another sexual conversation about whether or not you've ever sucked your own dick. Have you?
I feel I've indulged too much in this episode already, so I'm going to keep silent about that and say no comment, which makes it sound like a yes.
Clearly you have. I mean, if not, you would have said no, wouldn't you? Because otherwise it wouldn't be divulging anything.
No.
No, then.
No.
All right. That clears that up.
Yeah, so they go to the wake and they run in.
Yes.
There's a lost scene, isn't there?
There is a lost scene called the lost scene. It was a scene in the original script that was cut due to budgetary restraints, where Dante and Randall go into the wake and essentially interfere with the body somewhat and knock the casket over. But they didn't film it because they couldn't afford to hire the location, and then all the actors and things obviously would have added to stuff.
Do you think this is this scene stands out as being the only bit outside of the vicinity of the two shops? It just seems a bit... I feel like it could have been cut out completely.
I mean, it was cut out. Oh, you mean the whole going to the wake?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely could have been. I think it's just another example of Dante losing his straight-edged rules-abidingness.
And not being able to get over his past.
Yeah. Dante says himself, though, that when he closed the store to play hockey on the roof, at least he could see if people were wanting to come in. This is certainly taking it to the next step. He's actually left the area. So I think it's not integral to the story, but I think it helps it. Yeah, and the scene was later made into an animation with the original actors voicing their parts, which I'd never seen until just recently. Have you seen it?
I have, but not for years and years. I was going to get to it because it's on the DVD, but I didn't.
It's all right. It's not bad. It seemed very different in tone, even though it's just cartoon in real life. It just seemed very out of place. It's like loads of background people, and like it looked like an actual scene in a film rather than just people talking to a camera.
Bit too much.
Yeah. So in the film, we don't get any of that. We just cut to them running out, being chased by family members, chucking stuff at them. And it's not until they return back to the quick stop where they basically tell that they have a conversation where they divulge what happened, knock over the casket, etc.
Isn't this where Randall just spits all over a customer?
Yep. What's the... Didn't make a note of it, but title dictates behaviour. That discussion.
Oh, that was it, yeah.
Yeah. Where
Because at that
Dante's...
point I was like, oh, maybe he's a bit of a dick. Just spitting all over a customer.
Well, yeah, he is a dick. He's clearly a dick. But he's fucking awesome. I mean, he's not... I wouldn't want to hang... Well, yeah, no, I don't think I'd be friends with him in real life, but as a character, he's brilliant.
I might be friends with him in real life.
You would be.
Might be. He does tend to ruin Dante's life a bit, as brought up later in the film.
Yeah, which we'll get onto, whether or not it's his fault or not, but we'll get onto that later. So they're having the discussion about title dictating behaviour, which is why he spits in the face of the customer. Just water, it's not like phlegm, but it's still certainly out of order. But his point is that his title suggests that he can't do that, but he did. So you make your own decisions in life, and you can't let, oh, I'm this, be an excuse for acting a certain way.
As you know, I'm a deeply religious man, so
Yeah.
I believe that the Lord guides our behaviour.
Do you not believe in free will?
No, God, he does all that. He sorts me out. He's got his Mega Drive pad
Yeah.
controlling me. Yep. He's not
Plugged
doing a
into
very
the
good job.
anus, you're just a little puppet.
Yep. That's why I put all my trust in Jesus.
Yeah. So this whole conversation is because Randall wants to borrow Dante's car to go to a better video shop, even though he works in a video shop. Yeah, basically because he wants a video that they don't sell there, which turns out being a chicks with dicks porn video.
Hermaphrodite porn.
Yeah, which everyone's into.
Well, you got to give it a try.
So whilst he's off with his car, Randall's off, we see Dante in the shop, and a guy comes in giving him a $500 fine for selling cigarettes to a 4-year-old, something Randall did earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things he's not best
Yeah,
pleased
maybe he's
about.
not a great friend. Yeah. I can understand maybe not wanting to be his friend.
In Randall's defense on this one, he didn't actually say it was Dante. He didn't blame him. He did it, but he's not blaming Dante for it. I feel there's one big thing that Randall does do, but we'll get onto that later. So Dante is starting to lose his cool a little bit at this point. He's not too happy about the $500 fine. And then Caitlin enters the store. She's not getting married. Woohoo! He's all happy.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre that she's driven all this way without telling him. Because I presume it's quite a while away, because they only talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Do you not think it's a bit odd that she's decided just to drive all the way there to talk to him?
Well, I mean, it's not just to talk to him, is it? It's also to explain to her mother that she's not getting married. She wanted to do.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
did that in.
So Dante asks her on a date, even though he's still with Veronica, technically. She agrees and then leaves to get ready. When she returns, Randall is back and watching the store and also watching his video that he rented, the Chicks with Dicks Hermaphrodite porn. Which he's just... I just love how blasé about it is. He's just sat there watching it in front of him. Just...
Yep, any customers coming in?
Yeah.
Yep, and she decides to go to the toilet.
She does. And what is it about the lights in this place, Gavin?
They're very conveniently, they don't work in the back.
Well, they do work, but not after a certain time. 5:14 in the afternoon, the lights suddenly stop working.
That's
Fun
right.
fact. So, obviously, if anyone was to use the toilet during the day, it would work fine. But then, if you want to use the toilet at night, different story, Gavin. It's very dark back there, pitch black, one would say. And you don't have a mobile phone, so you can't light it up. You just go back there. And to be fair, if you were to go back, you're going to use a toilet. And you stumble across just a body, a naked body, erect penis.
Yep.
You'd fuck it, right? I mean, clearly. You wouldn't ask who it is, you wouldn't check facial features or anything like that, you just sit on it.
Well, she doesn't just think, oh, it's a body. She does think it's Dante.
But you wouldn't check that it's Dante, you wouldn't ask or check facial features, would you? You'd just sit on it.
Just get on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, yeah, clearly, I feel.
There's a little bit of suspension of disbelief there.
Yeah, but it is a good scene.
It's a nice moment. Romantic.
Indeed. So she goes back there, finds the guy on the floor, fully erect, assuming it's Dante. She, of course, fucks the guy. Then comes out to see Dante talking to Randall. It's like, how did you get here so soon? Turns out the guy that went back there earlier with the porno magazine died whilst wanking, and Caitlin just fucked his corpse.
Did you like Dante's jumper here that he comes back in?
It's very fetching.
Very 1994.
And then after I don't know if you have anything during this scene, but after this scene, we get one of my favourite conversations.
Well, yeah, I like how when they're wheeling him out, the porno mag is just on his body, like on top of the sheet.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the first time I noticed it.
I did notice this time. I don't think I noticed before. Caitlin's in the ambulance. The dead body's in the ambulance. And I think it's Snowball just comes and looks, and then he just gets in and sits down. It's not established that he knows them or anything. But he just sits down in the hospital, and then it's closed and drives away.
I didn't even realise that, yeah, she's in the same ambulance as the body.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Weirdly, the film I watched before this was about this woman being attacked and then she becomes catatonic. So then this film is about a woman has sex with a corpse and she becomes catatonic. 2 in a row, completely by accident.
Accident, of course. It's not like you search for films by certain subject matter.
Never.
So yeah, in the next scene, we get one of my favourite moments. It's where I mentioned it earlier, shit or get off the pot scene. Randall sums up all of Dante's problems perfectly in an excellently delivered monologue. He complains about his job constantly but won't quit, and he dates Veronica whilst pining for Caitlin. His own actions or lack of actions are what has led him to all of his problems. Yet he just complains and acts like he's the victim, etc., etc. What did you feel about all of that?
Yep, it's good. Another great conversation. Just more of Kevin Smith's brilliant dialogue.
Indeed.
Very good stuff. I mean, is that that's not? Is it after that Jay and Silent Bob come and they have their little?
They come in after this. So the shit I'll get off the pot scene is first, and then we get Jay and Silent Bob come in, and yeah, Silent Bob speaks for the first time in a movie.
Yep, and he's just completely the voice of reason.
There's a million fine-looking women in the world, but they don't all bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you. Great line.
Yep, very good. Jay's really rough in this scene.
He is.
He's struggling with his dialogue there.
Well, do you know much about this? And
Well, I used to. I can remember listening to the commentary years ago, but no, it's gone.
this was obviously the first film Jay had ever been in. The character of Jay was based on Jason Mewes, so it's very like him in real life. And he was very nervous about it. He was very nervous on set. He needed a lot of the sets to be closed when he was doing a lot of the scenes. The dancing to the beatbox stuff, he needed everyone gone before he could do that. And this scene with that line, he was originally supposed to say it, but he didn't feel able to deliver such a poignant. No, my words
Poignant.
today.
Yeah,
Poignant.
you can't talk.
He didn't feel capable of delivering such a poignant line. So Kevin Smith stepped in, and that's what led to the kind of tradition of Kevin Smith having a speaking role in each movie.
Very interesting.
Indeed. So, yeah, it's this line, the most of them just cheat on you, most people don't bring lasagna at work, blah, blah, blah. It's that line that makes Dante realize that he's in love with Veronica. Do you think he is, or is he just no longer interested in Caitlin now that she's fucked a corpse?
No, I think he's come round, hasn't he? Although he's still a bit of a lot like Randall. He's a bit of a cunt. I mean, it's quite weird, really. The two main characters, they're both a bit nasty.
I mean, I don't think he's in love with Veronica.
No.
I mean, think about how he reacted to the 37 dicks. Caitlin's just fucked a corpse. And now he's suddenly, oh, I love Veronica. It's just he didn't, anytime he kisses her, he's going to taste a corpse. His lives.
That's all it was for him.
I think so.
Is it now where... so do Dante and Randall fight here?
Well, I wanted to go back in time to before what Randall does, so we should probably address why they fight. What does Randall do, Gavin?
Randall has told Veronica all about Caitlin.
Indeed.
Thinking he's doing the best for Dante.
Indeed. This is the one time he's an actual cunt. Really. You don't do that. I mean, granted, Dante's a cunt. Basically two-timing two women. But Randall getting involved where he shouldn't was a bit cunty. I've said cunt a lot.
It is, and you have.
But Randall tells Veronica. Veronica isn't best pleased. She obviously goes and breaks up with Dante, kicking him on the floor a little bit. And Dante's not having a great day, is he? He's
No.
not loving life. I don't believe he's in love with Veronica, but she was his backup plan. And now his backup plan's just kicked him.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that he's a cunt right to the end. To throw the C word again.
No, I think so. So then they have the fight scene. Fun fact about the fight scene. During the filming of this fight scene, Kevin Smith actually fell asleep laying on the freezers. He was working all day and filming all night and just hit a wall and crashed. Apparently. And they didn't wake him up. They knew, obviously, his schedule and stuff, and they just let him sleep whilst they filmed it. He didn't see any of the footage or anything until he got the dailies back like a couple of weeks later. So I like that.
You wouldn't have let me sleep.
Pussy.
So yeah, after the fight, they make up, kiss and make up, and all is good again.
Well, after another conversation where Randall hits him with some more home truths, because they have this fight and then they're laying on the floor. He's complaining about his eye, Randall's complaining about his neck, and Dante's, he's still a cunt. He's still blaming Randall, even at this point, right at the end of the film. He's still blaming Randall for all of his problems. He's saying, "Oh, you've got me this $500 fine. You've talked to Veronica. You're ruining my relationships. It's all your fault." And Randall hits him with some home truths again. And again, I love these home truths, these moments, these fuck you, because you get so many people whining about life. Yeah, I mean, I whine about life, but life can be shit, but a lot of problems are your own doing, and I feel that's the main message.
That's definitely the case in Dante's life. He could have not. He didn't have to go in. He certainly didn't have to be talking to his ex. So yes.
But yeah, and then as you say, it ends there, and they hug, make up. Randall helps clear up the shop because they made a bit of a mess when they were having the fight, and then it just basically ends.
Yep.
There's no real conclusion. There's no real story arc, really. It's just a day in the life of them two, and that's where the day ends.
Did you notice anything in the credits? There's some interesting credits.
I noticed that they had the special thanks and things, and I think there was a post-credit scene, but I can't remember what it was now.
It's just Jay's voice. That's all there was. But I just noticed that the cat's real name is Lenin's Tomb. It's a good name for a cat. And the boom credit is Whoever Grabbed the Pole.
Right.
Which, oddly enough, the same person did our film.
Yeah. Quite often.
It was him. It was Mr. Whoever Grabbed the Pole who boomed zombie scumbags.
Talented guy, to be fair. I mean, actually, in our film, the sound wasn't that great.
No. And then the credits end with Jay and Silent Bob will return in Dogma.
Which, again, wouldn't have been in the original cut, clearly.
But anyway, Dogma wasn't the next film. Mallrats was.
Fun fact as well. Yeah, so each week we get the man in my shed to come in, and he does a little bit. We're going to cut to that right about now.
Right, let's get this out of the way. Is Clerks Kevin Smith's best movie? No. No, it is not. Is Clerks Kevin Smith's second best movie? Yes. Yes, it is. Which, considering it was made in 1994, goes to show the upsettingly middling career that Kevin Smith has achieved since the promise of his debut. Let there be light. It's so sunny. For your information, Dogma is his finest work, followed by Clerks, then Tusk, then Clerks 2, then Zack and Miri Make a Porno, then Red State, then as we start to reach ultra immaturity, we get the trio of Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob the reboot, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, in that order. Before we reach the bottom of the barrel. Yes. Yoga hosers and Cop Out. I refuse to count Jersey Girl as anything other than Kevin Smith being so amazingly out of ideas that he decided to gather up every middle-of-the-road romantic comedy, put them on the table, dissect them, and add them together again with added sugary schmaltz. To create, essentially, the Dr. Smithsenstein monster of movie maudlin... To create, essentially, the Dr. Smithsenstein monster of maudlin movie manure. And you may ask, where's Chasing Amy? Well, apologies to the absolutely phenomenal Jason Lee and the rather magnificent Joey Lauren Adams, but I simply cannot count it. Because if I count it, it means that I have to think about that ending again. The worst ending in movie history, perhaps, although 500 Days of Summer did give it a run for its money. Autumn. It is the most unbelievable, it is the most jarring, it is the most awkward, the most ugly ending I have ever seen in my life. It's the most worst of everything. I mean, it's bad enough writing it, but for anyone to imagine that somebody of the limited capabilities of a 90s Ben Affleck could even come close to putting in the sort of sincerity and sophistication and sensitivity required for that sofa scene is frankly criminal. You see? Well, now I'm thinking about it again. Damn you, Kevin! But back to Clerks. This is Generation X at its most grungy, and to give it its eternal credit, it still stands head and shoulders above the slew of half-romantic slacker comedies that spewed forth out onto the big screen in the mid-90s. Replete with their Converse and their keychains and their flannel shirts. Maybe they were Vans. Reality Bites, Threesome, Empire Records, Singles, to name 4. It was if the kids from the John Hughes High School of Movie Making had taken their first steps out into the big wide world, and they found that the only difference between here and the classroom was the fact that now they had to get a job and earn $1. The chat, well, that's the same, albeit a little more vulgar and less PG. The clothes are the same, just slightly more worn and torn. The friendships are the same, yet somehow even more sex-driven. The Brat Pack had gone. Here were the Slack Pack. No, the Plaid Pack. And this is no more evident anywhere than in Clerks. Brian O'Halloran as Dante, with his unforgivable goatee, takes us on a journey through his own fiery circles of hell as he tries to hold his sanity together in his depressingly mundane and success-preventing menial day job, fighting off a flurry of dilemmas from the professional to the romantic, from the predictable to the absurd. Is it puerile? Yes. Is it immature? Yes. Is it a little sexist, judgmental, righteous and self-serving? Yes. But is it still funny? Yes. Yes, it is. I've only got to think of the line in a row and I'm already giggling. I've only got to think of Jeff Anderson's masterful performance as Randall and I'm basically holding back the tears. Add to that Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith himself in the roles of soon-to-be cult phenomena Jay and Silent Bob, and I am getting a stomachache. Throw in Marion Gigliotti as Veronica and the handling of that after the sex in the bathroom scene. And yeah, I'm on the floor. I'm holding back now. But trust me, inside, I'm dying. It's so good. Coming from what appears to be the Larry David school of script writing, Kevin Smith puts out all his own opinions, all his real-life conversations, all his friendships and all his sufferings, all his musings and his dark, twisted theories on counterculture, all out onto the counter. And reconstructs them in movie form, resulting in what could best be described as a feature-length gross-out episode of Seinfeld. It is a sort of movie that tries to find the common consensus, the moral majority, and argue with it for the sake of arguing. It is anti-woke. Unless, of course, you are being anti-woke. Then it will decide that woke is the right way to go. Just when you think you've got a handle on its moral compass, it goes south. And because of this, it's continually refreshing. It never lets up, and it never gets dull. Yes, there are silly bits. The listing off of porn titles in front of a mother and her toddler. The continual jokes about masturbation. The unseen accidental interference with a corpse. In fact, that kind of happens twice. But strangely, despite this, it still manages to keep its heart in the right place. The rhetoric riposts are stunningly cohesive and usually emanating from the characters that you would least expect. With Jay seemingly becoming the voice of reason and Silent Bob breaking his silence to become the voice of sanity, and Randall with his final thought near the end of the movie. Well, it's like it's taken a poetical laxative and we just have to sit there in adulation as he lets the, well, tumble. Clerks is excellent. Yes, maybe it's aged a little. Maybe a newer audience won't allow themselves to be taken under its wing like a younger brother as I was. But it's certainly got something magical about it. Whether you were in it for the conversation or for the laughs or for the romance or the loyalty, there is more than likely a reason for you to become friends with this film. I mean, hey, the cat in it's got its own IMDb page. Who names a cat Lenin's tomb? Bottom line, Clerks is ace. Right. I'm closed. Laters.
So that was Keir Mills again. The man in my shed delivers again. Excellent piece. All that's really left are some ratings, final thoughts, and then pick next week's film. Do you want to go first with what you thought and the rating?
I mean, it's been quite a while since I've seen it. I was quite taken back by the look of it, especially seeing Kevin's films recently. They're very clean and polished, and I just really like the rough 16mm black and white. It's I remember thinking while I was watching it, would it have been such a big success if, say, the whole Kevin Smith thing never happened, but Clerks was made by a young Kevin Smith now, but shot on like digital video? Would it have made the same impact? I don't think it would.
It's debatable. I mean, what are you saying? Same script, same shooting style of static shots?
Yeah.
I think still it would be good. I mean, obviously, for its time, it was more important, so it had more of an impact because there were less of them at that time.
It's of its time. But and I thought I might find it a little rough around the edges this time, but I didn't, and really enjoyed it. Well written, performances not always amazing, but the key two, Dante and Randall, are great. So yeah, I am giving it, are we rating now?
Yeah.
A solid 8 out of 10.
Only 8?
Only 8, yeah.
You said it's your second favourite Kevin Smith film, and an 8 out of 10. I'm kind of giving away my rating. I clearly loved it. There's not really much of a conventional story arc, and Dante doesn't really learn any life lessons, I don't feel. I feel at the end he's still pretty much the same guy. Strangely, all of the moral input comes from the least moral character in the movie, Randall, whilst he's shouting at Dante. But it's these scenes that make the film so great. I love that Kevin Smith got into $27,000 with debt to make the film, and in doing so, he 100% made the decision not to be a Dante, even though he's based on Dante, or Dante is based on him. But but by doing it, by the simple act of this film existing, he's not Dante. Don't settle for a job you hate and a relationship you're not happy in. Take a chance at something bigger. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, solid ratings.
Which...
We haven't had a film that we've outright hated yet.
Nope. We haven't. What's... the 9 would be 4.5 out of 5. You gave it 4. So we're at 8.5 out of 10, are we?
There you go. Yep.
Which makes it our second highest rated movie. That's why you gave it a low rating, is it? You didn't
No,
want
I didn't think of that at all.
You didn't want it overtaking Come and See.
No, I didn't think of that at all.
8 out of 10. Piece of shit. Love you. Right, so basically all that's left is to do next week's film. Same as last week, I'm going to be doing it on my computer, which you cannot see. So,
got to take your lying word for it.
Yeah. I mean, last week I chose my own movie, so I'm clearly not doing that myself. Right. 19 entries again, same as last week, just because we've had more entries and things come in. So 1 is the lowest number. 19 is the highest number.
I'm glad you explained that.
What's your prediction, Gavin? How do you see this coming?
14.
8. You were wrong, weren't you? But you feel like a big stupid dummy.
I do.
Number 8 is Simon Del Bosque's film True Romance from 1993.
Haven't seen that for many, many years.
No, me neither. So that'll be enjoyable. That'll be next week's film. We will be discussing it this time next week.
Written by Quentin Tarantino.
Was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, written by him, directed
Not
by
directed.
Tony Scott.
Fun factoid.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, if you want to suggest a film for the film club, just come onto our Facebook page. Go onto Facebook, search for Cool Kids Film Club, and it will come up. You'll see us. You'll click it. There'll be a link. Not a link. There'll be a little thing at the top saying suggest. Suggestion box, something along those lines. Put in what film you want, and then we'll watch it, won't we?
Eventually, yeah.
Is there anything we won't watch?
What? Coronation Street?
Yeah, it's not a film. Porn.
Well,
We did have
it's a
someone
film.
suggest a porn film recently. I had to say no
Oh,
to that.
yeah.
Jamie,
That was a shame.
would you have gladly reviewed a porn film?
What was it?
Can't remember, but
Depends if it was like hermaphrodite porn.
well, if anyone could review that, then I feel you'd be qualified.
Why?
It's the amount you've seen.
Haven't seen
Must be a
any.
connoisseur by now.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
You.
So, do you want to say goodbye, Gavin?
Goodbye, Gavin.
You're a comic genius.
Oh, that was good.
That was good. Bye!
Bye.
This is the Cool Kids Film Club